So, we are doing our last method of factoring today. It's called difference of squares. We start by identifying what a binomial is. A binomial is a polynomial with two terms. The important part there are two terms. An example of that, of a binomial, is like 5x plus 8. Okay, two terms that I can't combine together. Remember, the first rule of factoring is to always take out the GCF. Always take out the GCF. Let me grab my charger really quickly. Okay. So it says factoring method 3. We've already learned two methods, okay? Our first method that we learned was grouping. We learned how to factor by grouping. That's with our four terms. We split them up. We also learned our AM method, which is the shortcut. So that's our second method. This is the third method. Difference of squares. There are three things that are needed to use this method. We need a binomial, so two terms. We need subtraction. And we also need perfect squares. Okay? Off to the side of your, like where you were just writing, let's practice this. Let's say I have x squared minus 25. We just talked about how if we have a binomial, we can make it a trinomial by putting in a placeholder. So we had x squared plus 0x minus 25. Those are the same things. Okay? And now to factor, look for a GCF. I don't have one, so I have my AM method. I need two numbers that multiply to give me negative 25 and add to give me 0. What are my factors?
5 and 5.
5 and 5, but one needs to be negative, right?
You have negative 5.
So my answer here is right in my factors. X minus 5 and x plus 5. You guys remember that stuff? All right, here's where our shortcut comes into play. This is called dose. I want you to take a look at x squared minus 25, the same thing we just had. In dose, my D stands for difference. My O stands for of, and the S is squares. Difference of squares. It also means that my D stands for double parentheses. I have to write small because I write too big on this board. Double parentheses. So that means I have one set of parentheses and another set of parentheses. Okay? My O stands for opposite signs. So that means double parentheses. Opposite signs means one gets a plus, one gets a minus. And my S stands for square root. What's the square root of x squared? If we have two x's and we just cut it in half, there's how many x's? Just 1x there and 1x there, right? So we're going to take the square root of both of my terms. The square root of x squared is x. And the square root of 25 is 5. Opposite signs. There's my answer. Now this form of factoring only works when you have a binomial, so only two terms, and you have to have the minus. Okay, think about those difference of squares. Difference means subtraction. Okay, that's a biggie there. Let's look at number 1. Do I have a binomial? Do I have two terms? Yeah. Do I have a minus sign? Yep, and I have two perfect squares. So this to me yells this. Okay, I can save myself so much time. I have double parentheses, opposite signs. What's the square root of x squared? X, and that goes in the beginning of each parentheses. And the square root of 49 is 7. So this is my answer. We did all of that. We know it's right without a T-chart. So it's a shortcut to the shortcut. Okay. Example 2. I first look for GCF. Do I have one? No. There's nothing in common with 4 and 81. Okay. And remember, if you get confused, grab your calculators. And in your calculator, we can check. We're going to go to math, over the number, hit number 9. And I have 4, comma, was it 81?
Yeah, 81.
481. Let's see if there's anything other than 1. No. Okay, there's no other GCF besides 1. So that tells me that I do not have a GCF. But I have a binomial. I have two terms. I have two perfect squares. I have 4, x squared, and 81. They're all perfect squares. Okay? So I'm going to dose. Isaac, are you with me? It doesn't matter if you flip your signs minus, plus, plus, minus. Tomato, tomato. You can do what you want. All right, let's break this down. What is the square root of 4? 2. So we put 2 in each parenthesis. The square root of x squared. Okay. And then I have the square root of 81. 9. So my answer, when I factor that, is 2x minus 9, 2x plus 9. If for some reason you forget how to factor, you can still do this. If you forget how to dose, you would have to do 4x squared plus 0x minus 81 and do it the long way. But it still works. Okay? Any questions on examples 1 and 2? Isaac, are you with me? Number 3, I have a binomial, check. I don't have a GCF, that doesn't really matter, but I check for it. All right, no GCF. I don't have a minus sign. Can I do those without a minus sign?
No.
No, so my answer is what?
Fine.
Prime. I don't even have to do anything. I know I can't go any further with it. It is going to be prime. Because dose means difference, not addition. Number 4, do I have a GCF? Yes, what is it? 2, right?
Yep.
You pull that to the side and let's divide. 2x squared divided by 2 is x squared minus 25. Now, I'm not done yet. I'm going to check. Can I dose x squared minus 25? What do you guys think?
No.
I can't dose that? X squared and then 25? Two terms, I have a minus sign, two perfect squares. Yeah, I can. So I go over my GCF. I have opposite parentheses. I'm running out of room. I'll try to clean this up a little. Alright, so the square root of x squared is x. Square root of 25 is 5. My signs are opposite. This would be my answer. If you left your answer as what's highlighted, you would not be completely wrong, but you would not be completely right. You want to factor it all the way down. I want you guys to do 5 and 6. Take a minute and think about, do I have a GCF? Ask yourself that question. If you do, you divide it and then you keep working if you can. And then I want you to think, can I dose? Alright, number 5. Do I have a GCF? X cubed minus 9x. What do they have in common? The x. So I have x divided by x cubed divided by x gives me x squared. And then 9x divided by x? Negative 9. What can I do with this point? With the x squared minus 9, what can I do with that? Can I dose it? Very dosable to me. Two perfect squares minus sign. If I dose this, Cheney, what do I get? What else? X minus 3x plus 3. Now let's pull down our x into our actual answer.
Wait, is it okay if I can?
Yeah. That's okay. Alright, number 6. Okay, I have a dose problem. There's no GCF. If you tried it, you'll get 1. So I get right into my double parentheses. Okay? What goes into my first parentheses? What's the square root of 169? 13. And the square root of x squared. And then we have 196. Huh? Okay, you did minus 14, so this will be plus 14. Remember, you guys can choose whatever you want as far as plus or minus. Any questions on those? We're going to change gears for a second. This is our 4th factoring method. So we know grouping, we know our AM shortcut, we know dose. Now this is SOAP. Okay, SOAP is a system, so make sure you're focused and you're paying attention. For SOAP, you need 2 things in order to use this method. You need a binomial, which we know is 2 terms. We also need 2 perfect cubes. The difference between dose and SOAP is dose is normally x squared. Our SOAP is going to be cubed. We're dealing with cube roots here. Okay, so what do we do? SOAP is an acronym. What it means is same, opposite, always positive. So if you look, it's S-O-A-P. This is for your signs. This This tells you what kind of signs to do. Same, opposite, always positive. All right, here's our example. X cubed minus 8. X cubed minus 8 is a binomial. Okay, my signs do not matter for this. Okay, in dose, it had to be difference, which is subtraction. So, don't care. Okay, all we need is a binomial, so 2 terms and 2 perfect cubes. In this case, let's take a look. What is the cube root of x cubed? Just 1x, right? Wake up, guys. The cube root of 8 is going to be what? In your calculators, I want you to do this. This is how you can figure it out. You're going to hit math, go down to number 4, and type in the number 8. Is it a cube root? Yeah, it's an even number. It's 2. So my cube root of 8 is 2. Okay? What I want you guys to get into a habit of doing is make one normal parentheses and then one bigger one. One normal size and one bigger one. All right, whatever our 2 cubes are, we're going to put right here and leave a space in the first parentheses. X and 2. All right, in your second one, you're going to have 3 terms here. So we're going from 2 terms in the first parenthesis to 3. All right, this first spot here, pay attention to this. We are going to square our first number. So what is x squared? Just x squared, right? X squared is x squared. My middle term tells me to multiply my first 2 terms together. So we're always going back to this first grouping symbol. So I have 2 times x. Well, what's 2 times x? 2x. All right, my last over here, I'm going to square the last number. What is 2 squared? 4. We're almost done. To complete this, I need to make my signs, okay? Your signs are going to start with the original. That was x cubed minus 8. This is where same, opposite, always positive comes into play. If I have the same sign, I start with a negative. The opposite, it goes to positive, and always positive is a plus. That is my answer. This is how we factor a binomial with cube roots. Okay, let's try another example. All right, example 1, x cubed plus 64. Remember, I don't care about pluses and minuses. Okay, I don't do my sign to the very end. So I have one small parenthesis and I have one bigger one. All right, what is the cube root of x cubed? Just x. What's the cube root of 64? Use your calculator. Do not tell me 8. Math 464. All right. So those 2 cube roots go right into this first group. All right. So now I'm going to skip to the second group. It says to square the first term. What's x squared? X squared. My middle says product, which just means to multiply. So I'm going to multiply 4 times x. What do we get? 4x. My last term tells me to square my last term. So what is 4 squared? What did you say? 16. But it's an 8. All right, Jordan, here are my signs. Same, opposite, always positive. I'm starting with a plus sign.
Plus.
So plus, minus. Good job. Be sure to not put your sign before the x squared. So throw you off. And that's my answer. Do you guys have -1 or +1?
Minus.
Okay. Mine was a little off, so I had to rewrite it. So I have 1 normal parentheses, 1 bigger one. Janie, what is the cube root of 125? Uh, 5. And the cube root of x cubed is x. What's the cube root of 1? 1, yeah. Good job. I'm plugging those numbers, those terms, into my first parentheses. All right, and the second one, the bigger one, my first number I squared, so I have 5x squared. Be careful, because it's not just 5x squared. Write this book better so you guys can see. It's in parentheses, so that means 5 squared times x squared. What's that answer? That 2 has to be distributed. So what's 5 squared? 25, and then x squared is x squared. So be careful to not write 5x squared. It's 25x squared. My middle term tells me to multiply these two people together. What's 5x times 1? 5x. My last term tells me to square my last term. 1 squared is just 1. Isaac, what are my signs for this?
For the first one, plus.
Why?
Minus.
Minus.
And plus.
There we go. Number 3, do I have a GCF? No idea, what is it? Bless you. 2 and 2,000, what's the highest number that goes into both of them? 2. X to the 4th and x? Just regular old x. So I have 2x, and then I divide, so I get x cubed plus 1,000. I need to have a binomial. Whenever I have a binomial, I'm asking myself 2 things. Can I SOAP it or can I dose it? I have a cube root there, so that tells me it should be SOAP. I also have up 1,000, so that's also cube root. So we have 1 normal parentheses, 1 bigger one. Let's SOAP this. The cube root of x cubed is x. The cube root of 1,000 is 10. All right, Isaac, my first number here, I square my first number in my first parentheses. What's x squared? X squared, okay? So I think about my middle term, I multiply them together. What's my middle term going to be? 10x. And then my last number here, I need to square this last number. What's 10 squared?
100.
100. So my signs are going to be plus, minus, plus, and don't forget to bring down your 2x. All right, you guys do 4 and 5. 3 minutes. Example 4. Okay, I have a binomial. I have a cube root, so I know it can be so. The cube root of x cubed is x. What's the cube root of 3? Did we get a perfect cube for that? No. So my answer is what? Prime. Can't do it, you can't do it. On number 5, I have a cube root, so that tells me I can do so. So the cube root of 512 is what? Okay. And the cube root of x cubed, what about the cube root of 27? 3, okay? Here we go. One small, one big. And the first one, I'm going to write 8x and 3. That's my class, so we're going to give that, Jordan. All right, so my first number, Jordan, what'd you get? So 8x squared is really like that, right?
So 64.
64 x squared, because that 2 gets distributed. Okay? My middle number, I need to do 8x times 3. 24 what? X. My last number, I square. So 3 squared. So my signs are what, Jordan?
Plus, minus, plus.
Plus, minus, plus. Any questions on this? You guys get the system that we're doing? Okay.